Hello everybody and welcome back to another stream. It's just me here today. Evan is off being busy, but excuse me, since you all are trapped here with me today, I thought we would build the set that has been sitting on the shelf waiting to be parted out for like 2 years or something. It has been a really long time, and I really hope I'm live and press the right button because on my phone it is not updating. Oh, okay, no, I am live. Okay, good. So, hello and welcome. Let's see, who is here today? Henry A, welcome. Yes, you are first. I need to turn down my phone. Ken Williamson, I assume what you're trying to ask is whether or not it was nice to have David out in CA. It was. We had a lot of fun. Went out to dinner, talked shop, although mostly it was social. We didn't. The Lego Illuminati did not come up with any great plans while we were here, but it was still really fun to have him out, and we look forward to going out there at some point in the future. It would also be nice to go out and see Chris again because it's been almost a year. May, I think, was when we went out. You can go ahead and check out the vlogs on the channel if you want to. If you want to see the whole story when we went out to visit David and Chris out in Milan. Is it Milan, Illinois? That sounds right. I think it's Milan, Illinois for Chris and Grand Rapids for David. But he's not here anymore. He flew back. Has it already been 2 weeks? Yeah, 2 weeks. The store's been pretty crazy, so if you forgive my tiredness here, but we have been trying to upload like a bin a day in terms of like those big yellow bins back there. We've been trying to do like 1 or 2 of those a day, and it's been pretty crazy, but we have added a ton of parts. So anyway, the reason why you're all here, at least hopefully, I'm going to go ahead and dump this out so that we have a chance to actually finish. I know I ripped the box. We have a chance to actually finish this set today. Even though it's very small, it is only, let's see, how many pieces is it? 110 pieces. Ken Williams asks, you came to Grand Rapids? Yes, we did. May of last year. Was it? Yes, May of last year. If you go on our YouTube channel, there should be a playlist called Daily Travel Vlog or something like that, where it details our adventure. Unfortunately, we were only in Grand Rapids for a day, like a day, and then like a little bit in the morning, and then we headed out. The general trip was, I think we flew into Chicago, slept for like 2 hours at like the sketchiest hotel in Chicago. Actually, I'm sure there are sketchier hotels in Chicago, but it was pretty sketchy. And then we drove out to, or we met up with David. I'm probably saying this all wrong, but we met up with David, and then we all carpooled out to meet Chris in Illinois, and then we stayed there for, I think it was only one night, and then we drove back. But yes, we did go to Grand Rapids. All right, I will go ahead and get started on this. Today's probably going to be a pretty quick stream, and it has been so long since I've built a set. The last Lego set I built was on stream, and I think it was the Hidden Side set that I built with Kyle, where we gave our deep Hidden Side lore, and tried very badly to play the AR app game, which still does work on our phone while like pointing it at the camera. It was a total mess. Knoll the parts first. I'm sorry, I don't understand. Let's see. All right, so Mummy, I wonder what the part out value of this set was. New. You know, I feel like I added one of these guys not that long ago. Who knows? This is a very tiny set, though. Although, of course, I will still have trouble finding parts. So, but anyway, what are you all doing? That's the default question, of course, when I don't have anything good to say. But how are all of you doing? And is anyone building anything, working in the store, doing anything crazy? Plotting? A little knowledge must... Oh yeah, ye of little knowledge must research. Knolling. Alright, I will look it up. What does knolling mean? Ah. Knolling is the process of arranging objects so they are parallel or at 90-degree angles. It helps keep everything organized, and when photographed, creates noticeable images. I suppose that could buy some time. Hello, Brickatronic. My last set was the N1. Very cool. I thought about buying Rivendell, but unfortunately I don't really want to drop, what is it, $500 something right now. So, yeah, I'd rather not. Adam Savage tested knolling Lego on YouTube. I assume the idea there is that it's much faster to build something if you have it all spread out, or if you have it all organized, which is definitely true, because when I am verifying orders for customers, depending on how crazy it is, like if it was just this, I probably would not, but if it was like a large bag, I do sometimes separate things out just to make it a little bit easier. Hello, Steve, the back to tank. Welcome. Brickatronic wants to know if it makes building faster. I don't know. I have never done it. There might be some noise in the background. My dad is currently out back disassembling the cat house. There was a whole string of words, but we used to have a cat, Rocky. He kind of came with the house. Nobody really knows. Well, my grandma adopted him as a stray, and this used to be my grandma's house. And when she passed away, we kind of donated it for free to a nonprofit. Not like a halfway house, but it was for like teenagers who, through no fault of their own, had been kicked out. Like their parents just didn't want them anymore. And then eventually they moved on, and Evan and I moved into the house here, and Rocky the cat kind of came with it. But the kids who were here previously had built a very impressive, it's not a dog house because it wasn't a dog in it, but like a full structure with like tiled roof and a hole and a raised platform. I don't know. It was pretty impressive. And Rocky has been passed away for quite a while now, and the house has just been decaying in the backyard. So my dad is currently removing the house. So if you hear lots of large bangs, that would be him discombobulating the currently established cat house. Henry says, I also want Rivendell. Did I just say? I'm very tired. I also want to get Rivendell, but need to get the police station in Assembly Square before they retire. Yeah, I have not bought Lego for fun. I have not bought Lego for the explicit purpose of building for my personal collection since I got the Sonic set when that came out, which I got, I think, the same day it came out. But if they launch a bunch of other Lord of the Rings sets, I may consider. This is not going to be beautifully arranged. My apologies. How has everyone's April 1st been so far? Any funny pranks? I woke up today to check the news, and unfortunately, it was not very funny. So, I did not see any big pranks unfolding. But maybe others have had more luck. Brickatronics says, also you need a lot of space, nothing for my coffee table. Yes, I could imagine for a very large set, spreading it all out like this would be quite the space consumer. Oh no, I messed it up. Ben says, not here, too busy prepping for tomorrow's show. Are you going to a convention? Henry asks, do you like Technic sets? I have never built a Technic set. Actually, that's not true. When I was little, I built the Droideka, the Star Wars Technic Droideka. So, yes, I do own that. But other than that, I have not purchased any Technic sets. Ben says, selling at a LEGO convention, second week in a row. Congratulations, you've made it into the big time. How is the yield at a convention? Evan and I have never done one, but we've wanted to. But I wonder if the total cost, including all of the time spent preparing, removing things from your inventory so that they don't double sell, etc., actually outpaces the gains. Because obviously you make a lot of money in a very short term, hopefully. But you also have a lot of overhead costs. Although I suppose you don't have to pay for shipping, and you don't have to pay BrickLink fees, and depending on the payment method, you may not have to pay PayPal fees. So perhaps it is all made up in the fees. Ben says it was very good last Saturday. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Ben says, I keep a separate inventory for shows, and once prepped, it's a cupboard ready for the next one. I just have to restock what's sold between shows. Okay. What I worry about then is that those parts are not available for sale on BrickLink. Depending on how often you do shows, I feel like you are potentially having a high opportunity cost. Ken Williamson says, feels the power of the part of Mosaic of part Beautify. Yes, I think I understand. Dunder Mifflin Brickco says, hey yo, what's shaking? Not much, not much. Flooring the attic today. That was what I was doing. That's why I'm so tired. And after this, possibly going into the store, possibly taking a nap. Before today, lots of time in the store, trying to make up for when David was here. Ben says, true, They're not, but it's stuff I wouldn't sell on BrickLink. New sets, CMFs, poly bags. Okay, the parts I do sell generally sell for 1.5 to 2.5 BrickLink average. Okay, so it's not like you are bringing like normal figs or anything. You're bringing stuff that, yeah, we probably would not sell on BrickLink either. But yeah, I mean we've talked about doing conventions, but it's also just time. We got to be out of the store, and it seems like it would be very disorganized. Ben says I'll stick a photo in the Discord Patreon chat for you to see. Sure, I will check that out in just a sec here. Alrighty. I have not yet received it. Oh, Ben is typing. Okay. Alright, we have now prettily laid out everything. And we can begin building the Mummy Museum Mystery. I suppose I'm eager to solve the mystery of how long it will take me to build this set. I think that was an award-winning pun there. I suppose there's music now. Henry wishes there was a show by him. I don't actually know for certain that there is a show near us, but considering that we're very close to both LA and San Diego, I would strongly suspect that there is. That's a nice stand. That's huge. Sorry guys if I'm being quiet here. I'm analyzing this. How much? How do you? Let me start over there. For the big bins of parts, what's the turn like on those? Do those actually clear? New minifigures, $250 each. What is in that $850? Oh, contain. You're selling containers, like little bins, for $8 and for £8.50. If it's very blurry, so it's hard for me to tell, but if you are selling those little reddish brown crates for £8 and those are actually turning, we are doing the wrong thing. Oh, okay. I assume. Okay, I'm sorry, Ben, if I read the wrong numbers there. I didn't see your message, but I think that those were safe numbers since those are just the list price here. Oh, zero. Okay, 50 cents. Okay, that's a lot more realistic. Okay. Zero looks like an 8. Okay, that's substantially substantially more realistic. Because if you were selling those for $8 or for £8 a pop, there are these little flies hanging around that come from. I have a fungus gnat infection in my terrarium for the lizard, and they're harmless little bugs, but they're these tiny, like almost microscopic fruit fly looking things, and I need to remove them. They breed in the roots of the plants in my terrarium, and they keep flying around, and it's very annoying. So if you see a bug, that is probably what it is. But I have not yet taken care of it because it is a huge pain. I have to basically pull all the plants out and then wash their roots in hydrogen peroxide and water, and then like pull up all the soil, and then I've got this fungus spores that I bought online, which you're supposed to be able to add to the soil, and it's a type of mold that's like harmless to humans, and it doesn't look like mold, so you won't see it, but it will kill any remaining gnats when they try to eat it. So I need to take care of that. That was my little pointless ramble for today. Although it has been a long time since you guys have seen Banana. I don't want to put him up here because he will wreck everything. Plus he's sunning himself, and if I get him out, he's going to think he's being fed. Dendermifflin Brickco says, what makes the blue boxes of Lego so hard to get? Is it that you have to enter your card info and shipping info before you get one claimed for you?
Yes.
Blue. Yes. Blue boxes. If you're I assume you are talking about the Goodwill blue boxes. That is what I assume. But yes, you have to use an account and buy through Goodwill blue box. There's also a lot of non-sellable in there when we've bought them in the past. But overall, they were our lifeline for a little bit when we first started doing new. Or first started doing used, wow. So, has anyone else here seen the new John Wick? I realize that's probably not exactly... us and John Wick probably have very little in common, but has anyone else here seen it? I went and saw it in theaters for my birthday, because it released on my birthday, and it was amazing. I am a huge John Wick fan, so I'm very glad that it was good. Ben T says, with the used parts, they were about 20% of the sales for that day. That's a lot more than I was expecting. Dunder Mifflin Brickco says, do you know how many they post at a time on Friday? It's like you have to have an order in seconds, or do you have a chance of getting one if you're waiting when they drop? You have to be sitting at the keyboard refreshing the page in incognito mode so that it doesn't cache the page. That's how I got them. I had a couple tabs, or I had the URL caught on my clipboard, and then an incognito window open, and then I would reopen and close the incognito window, because how browsers work is like if you visit a page, it'll save that page locally for like a couple seconds, so that way it doesn't have to get the page again if you refresh the page. But in incognito mode, it does not do that. So at least if you close it and reopen it, it doesn't look at the cache. So that is how I, in the past, have gotten them, is I'm sitting there waiting with credit card, the number like in a notepad document so I can copy paste it in, and then wait for them to drop, and then try to buy them. Henry A says, I just watched Top Gun Maverick, really good. I have not seen that, although I also have not seen the first Top Gun. So I'm a little out of the loop. Everyone I've talked to has either said it's really good or really bad. So probably just a taste thing. Alright, looks like we have completed a part of a stand here. I need to buy for time because the stream is going to be too short. So, it's a pretty cool little stand here. Alright, moving on. Oh, we're still building onto the stand. I kind of assumed it was done. Denner Mifflin Brickco says, thanks for the info. I've never tried to get one before, and I just want to try and see what it's about. Yeah, you have to be pretty quick. Everyone is sitting there waiting. So, go fast is my advice. Alternatively, you can use something like Shop Goodwill. That is another place we have had good luck. The best Shop Goodwill strategy is to buy from the ones that are located right next to you. So that way you don't have to pay shipping, and so you can bid more. Well, yes, you can bid more because you can bid up to as if you had been paying shipping, whereas everyone else needs to bid to where they need the maximum so that they can still make their margin plus shipping and handling. Henry asks, what are those again? What do you mean? The Goodwill Blue Box. It's a website. Goodwill, actually I don't know the URL, but if you just search for Goodwill Blue Box, it should come up. Shop Goodwill is the other online storefront run by Goodwill. Why does this not line up? Oh, duh. Denner Mifflin Brickco says, I mainly use Shop Goodwill. I don't have a lot of local listings available. Also, my local store gets to total crap and they pull all the figs. Yeah, so I don't wanna drop all of our knowledge here, so I'm gonna omit names, but we generally we have a couple Shop Goodwill stores that we buy from for basically normal pieces because they pull all the figs. And then we have a couple that we buy from where it costs a lot more and there's a lot more non-Lego, but they have a lot of figs. So we don't anticipate on having like a single box which has both lots of good pieces and lots of figs, because the trade-off is if you're going to a place that doesn't pull figs, you're gonna the assumption is that they don't pull anything. So you're gonna get all kinds of trash and junk and non-Lego in there. So based off of our experience, there's not really enough pieces in there to sustain a full workflow. So we kind of have our different spots. Henry says shipping is ridiculous on Goodwill. Depends on how much you're buying. If you're only buying a little bit, yes. But I found it to be acceptable. You know, $5-10 to ship, you know, 20 pounds, 30 pounds is pretty good. But the real Shop Goodwill strategy is just to know a little bit about all the locations and then keep a tracker somewhere where you can kind of rate the quality of what you received, so that way you know whether or not to bid at the same place again or not, because they all have different rules in terms of what they pull and what they don't. There's not like an overarching Shop Goodwill agenda. at least not to my knowledge. So you just have to know which places have the good stuff and which ones pull figs, etc. Because I'm willing to pay a little bit more to have all of the non-Lego pulled out, right? What you're paying a little bit more in is not getting any figs. But I am willing to buy unfiltered stuff to pull out the figs and also get some rupees, which we did. And I've got a little shelf here. Recently, we have gotten... Oh, and there's the glasses. How could I forget? This is like all the prizes. We have a little shelf. Whenever the cleaners come, I'm pretty sure they've never asked about the business, even though they clean this room and there's just all this Lego here. I assume that they think we're not just that enthusiastic of collectors, but we save some of the most interesting things that we find. And we've got like a cow here, which is dyed slightly pink, and we've got a gorilla, and these were recent finds. And then there's also, of course, the glasses, which we found in a pull too. But I do not wear those on a regular basis. I save them for special occasions. But the general idea is the higher the quality of the figs, the more random junk that's in there, and the more that goes in the trash. The one I refused... Hello, Carol. I don't understand. Thunder Mifflin Brick Co. says, the one I refuse to buy from, and I don't mind sharing, is Greater Washington, D.C. I swear they sent me the wrong listing, as it was 100% fake, and they've had to refund after 1 month for lost inventory. Ouch. Yeah, we have not had the best customer service experiences with Goodwill. We bought, we took some co-opetition with another store to buy a couple £100, and this was 2 months, maybe longer ago, and it just disappeared. It showed up a couple days ago, but before that it had just disappeared, and no response from customer service, nothing. So yeah. Carol Dabrowski says, will you still be making part out videos? We don't really do new anymore, just used. So we have not made a part out video in, maybe it's been years. Will they ever come back again? Excuse me, probably. I want to start doing new again. So does Evan, but it's probably 6 months to a year. We cannot do it in our current space. We need to move out. There's just not enough room. So once we move, hopefully there will be more. I'm just struggling to get words out today. There will be part out videos again. I am going to take a nap when this is over, and then I'm going to go into the store and do some used, unfortunately, not new. But back to Shop Goodwill. Yeah, so we have not had the best experiences with Shop Goodwill in terms of customer service when things go wrong, but that's not really the point. You get what you pay for, and so it's pretty cheap, and it is semi-reliable in the sense of there's always listings available, and this might depend on your store size and your markup, but at our basically the larger a store you are, the more you're able to mark up your goods, and so at our markup we can kind of push the bid, right? And I mean we have a limit in terms of how much we're willing to spend. but we have to keep our supply line filled. And so, because we buy so regularly, we can take more advantage of averaging, right? So we can get, 100 pounds here for $2 a pound, right? And then we can get 70 pounds here for $5 a pound, and that averages out, right? So we're able to go, or maybe $6 a pound or something crazy, right? Because we have to keep the supply line filled, and we also are averaging across a long period of time in terms of our expenditure on Shop Goodwill. So as a larger store, we're able to put more pressure on other bidders by outbidding them, because we're buying more. So paying overpriced on one is less important. Obviously, we prefer to get them all for cheap, but we're able to pay more. And so that's kind of the caveat with Shop Goodwill as a smaller store, is you're really only able to bid on you're only really able to make a margin on the small stuff, because you're not buying hundreds of pounds and therefore diversifying your costs, which is definitely the con. We did not use Shop Goodwill when we first started. We used Goodwill Blue Box. It is still expensive, but it's super regular, right? That was the most important thing for us back then. Now we kind of just know that we'll be able to win an auction, and we can go basically as high as we need to in order to win said auction. But yeah, that's at the end of the day not the most cost effective. But if you're looking for cheap Lego, it is the community. If you want to get cheap Lego, the best option that you possibly have is things like Nextdoor, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, eBay, and then handing out business cards. But that obviously takes a lot more time. So it kind of comes down to the time versus money thing. Do you want to spend more on your goods and therefore spend less of your labor time hunting down deals? Or do you want to spend less on your goods and spend more time hunting down good deals? So just keep that in mind. Then Muffin Brickco says, I really want to buy a pallet of Lego, but I've only seen listings for them on the East Coast. You can buy a pallet of Lego from Lego, so long as it's only one piece. Or, it comes in these boxes, but anyone can make a pallet order from Lego. You don't need any kind of, at least as far as I know, you don't need any kind of special wholesaler deal, so long as you're buying individual parts instead of sets. Someone should probably check me on that, but I'm pretty sure that you can just buy it. There's just a minimum order size, and that minimum order size is quite large. All right, time for stickers. All right, expertly applied, certified sticker installer. Dunder Muffin Burko says, right, I'm in a pallet of used. I've seen several listings for them on Shop Goodwill, and price per pound usually isn't too bad, but they do pick up only. That makes sense. I don't know if I've ever seen a pallet listing around here. That is kind of the thing that I was talking about in terms of every Goodwill does it differently. Some don't really understand the true value of what they're sitting on, and so they have really good deals. Others are willing to put in the labor to split it all out into these little categories and sell it there and make way more money. I'm going to have some pomegranate juice. Ken Williamson says, Put Windex underneath the stickers and they slide perfectly. Then once they dry, they don't move. That is a brilliant idea. I have never tried that before. But I wonder if you could use that to reapply stickers on used, because sometimes we get very good, like it's still good quality. The sticker's not ruined or anything. It's just super tilted, but we gotta peel it. So I wonder if you could use Windex to kind of reinvigorate the adhesive. I've thought about buying some kind of adhesive, but I would be very worried that since it's not the official Lego adhesive, you're kind of like damaging the part. Even if you were able to find something that's very close and came off the same, I just worry that you know, you don't know what the chemical reaction is, right? And I'm sure you could actually figure out what Lego adhesive is. It might even be publicly known. But I would be worried about just buying some random adhesive, but I have thought about doing it. Has anyone else done that? What did I do? Oh. You will also notice that we now have a tablecloth here. This was the suggestion of someone in chat, although I don't know who they are. Ken Williamson suggests pancake syrup. It could be a sweet treat. So the tablecloth here was, the idea originally came from someone in chat who said it was way easier to pick up pieces. I agreed. And so I used a blanket, and then Evan decided to buy these black tablecloths, and I gotta say, it is very easy when like you're sorting pieces or whatever to pick up, because it flexes. I would still prefer like more like a quilt kind of like thick fabric, but it still is fantastic. So there's your pro Lego tip today. Sort on a flat surface. We are almost done here with this, and I don't know what our run time is. Can I see the run time without being logged in? We have been going for almost 45 minutes. Okay. Perfect. Use real maple syrup versus Craggle. Excuse me. Brickatronics says, in Europe we have more and more companies entering the market selling good quality non-Lego pieces and sets. How's the situation in the US, and do you think it will affect the BrickLink business? Full disclaimer, I've worked with a non-Lego. Well, we don't first of all, we don't sell any non-Lego, but I reviewed a set that was sent to me by, oh no, I've forgotten their brand. I'm not a very good brand rep. But they sent me some Lego, so disclosure there, or non-Lego. But how do I think that it's going to affect things? Not much. People don't buy Lego for the IP. I mean, they do buy Lego for the IP, but Lego has a brand name associated with it. And I suspect, I think Lego's fine. I don't really think it will affect the BrickLink business, because I don't think that mock builders are going to buy non-Lego. The bulk of our business does not come from some person trying to build like a set. It comes from someone building a mock. It might not be a mock they designed themselves, but it's still a mock. And I think that the people that are in the community there are in the Lego community. They're not in the building hobby community, right? And so there's a difference between going to like, what's the gun, Lego gun, non-Lego gun, I know, there's like custom prints and stuff, but I think that that's pretty different because that's not available by Lego. But I think people will almost always continue to buy the on-brand Lego simply because brand recognition. It's like if you've ever played with like Warhammer 40k or like any miniature painting thing. Most people still buy from Games Workshop, even though it's ridiculously overpriced. They could go and buy from China Forge, right, and get a stolen IP, which is sometimes better quality than what Games Workshop puts out. You know, in terms of the plastic used and the detail on the mold is sometimes just objectively superior, but people still buy Games Workshop because it's easy and it has that brand recognition of being official. So I anticipate that that will be the same case with Lego. There is definitely it is definitely growing in here. We get emails every couple months, sometimes more, of various brands reaching out to us asking to rep them. And my reply is usually always the same, which is send me info about your business and I want to talk to you and I want to interview. And nobody ever says yes. The business that I did review for wanted us to push another product, so I reached out to them and I said, hey, I want to know about you, your business ethics, and I want to make a video, like a business spotlight. I was like, hey, I want to bring, if you want me to rep your brand, then we're a business channel. We're not a Lego channel, right? Our business is Lego, but primarily we run a business channel. And so kind of what I said is like, you know, if you want us to rep it, we want to rep your business. We don't want to rep, I mean, we will rep your product, but I want to rep your business and I want to make sure that it's a good business. And I believe competition is healthy. So if someone is a genuine competitor to Lego and they also embody the ideals that Lego represents and that many of our audience represents, I'm not unwilling to rep your brand. We're not going to sell it because a key part of our brand is selling authentic Lego. And if people thought that we were selling non-Lego, it would hurt our brand. But I would be willing to review something and say like, hey, this is original IP and it's cool, right? If you want to buy this set, go for it, don't feel guilty. And I reached out to this contact and said like, hey, could you send me some info, right? Like, you know, what are your guys' real names? Because it's always some Chinese business and they use, you know, placeholder names and stuff, and that's fine. It makes it easy to pronounce. But I was like, hey, I want to know your company culture. I want to know, are you actually I didn't explicitly say this, but what I kind of wanted to know is, are you actually one huge business that is representing itself as 20 little tiny companies, or are you actually a tiny entrepreneurial startup? Because to me, that makes a big difference. And I was like, hey, is there any way we could do like an interview or even just like a fact sheet thing? And the response I got was, hey, I'll talk to you after my vacation. And then they never reached out to me again, and they never responded to any of my follow-ups. And everyone who has reached out to me since, and I've basically sent the same thing, has also just disappeared. Or said that they'll contact me later, and then months go by and they never do. So if you are a non-Lego business, be prepared for the questions. But that's generally my opinion there, is I think competition is healthy and good for a market, but at the same time, I think the market that we are in has a ethical consideration to it. And actually, you know, no, not that. I think that, because that's kind of a loaded phrase. I think that the market that we're in has defined community. And as, I guess, a micro-influencer in that community, I feel like we have an obligation to gateway brands that reach out to us and make sure that they fit into the community. That's mostly my personal opinion. I have not conferred with Evan too much on all of that, but my personal opinion is more that if we're going to review something that's non-Lego or talk about something that's non-Lego, we make sure that since they are entering this community, they follow the community standards, I guess. Brickatronic says they also sell part packs. They wouldn't do that if there wouldn't be a market for it, so I guess mock builders buy non-Lego as well. Brickatronic says also you'll find more and more non-Lego in bulk, which makes it more expensive to process. That is true. The thing though is I have not seen many of these non-Lego brands stick around. I've seen the manufacturers stick around, but I have not seen the companies themselves stick around. Just because someone sells something does not mean that they're making money on it. If someone sells something and they're still here 5 years later, then they're making money on it, right? You know, I can sell anything I want within reason, and I can produce it and I can put up a nice website for it, and I can offer it as a product, and it's possible that no one will buy it. Obviously, people are buying these sets because we find them in bulk, and people are buying these part packs because we find them in bulk. But do I think that it's a substantial percentage of the community? Probably not. Probably not. I don't have hard data to back that up. But the fact that no one has ever messaged us asking if we carry any of these products, and we have never been approached by, and because we've sent out customer surveys and stuff, and I like to think that we interact with our viewers. The fact that we've only ever heard from brands trying to get us to sell stuff makes me think that the demand for individual parts is low. But yes, it does make it more expensive to process in bulk. I don't have a solution for that yet, but maybe one day. Carol Dabowski says, how many pieces, plus or minus, do you need to start a BrickLink store? Well, you can start a BrickLink store at any piece count so long as you are over 18 and have proof of your inventory. They need an ID when you sign up. But to be profitable, a few 100,000 to truly run a business, a few 100,000. I mean, look at like David West and Chris Great Brick Lab. They are, in terms of their business operations, I can confirm that, you know, they do well. And so I would say that is kind of the mark for truly legitimate BrickLink operation, but there are many people that have much, much smaller stores. To receive an order a day, I think in the past we have said like 60,000 bricks, and I don't know how many lots, probably like 2 or 5. That was 3 years ago when we first started. That was about when we started seeing an order a day. Honestly, the largest determiner of sales is your upload rate. Upload every day, upload as much diversity as you can every day. That is the secret to generating sales. We notice a almost immediate drop off if we stop uploading. Like within 2 weeks of not uploading every day, our sales will have dropped by double digits. So that is the BrickLink algorithm, I suppose you could say. And we've talked in other videos about the math behind that. It's not that you don't have unmovable inventory, it's that you have certain pieces in your inventory which everyone else has, and so there's no reason to buy at your store instead of everyone else's store. But then when you add a minifig or something rarer, your wanted list clicks, and therefore someone will come and buy a whole bunch of other pieces, not just that one piece. Brickatronic says, hope you're right. In Europe, at least the German-speaking regions, non-Lego is heavily supported By popular YouTube channels. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Huh. That's a lot to think about then. Because just because, like I was saying, just because I've never seen any evidence of something doesn't mean evidence doesn't exist. So, I could be wrong, and if I am, that's very scary. So maybe I should be more market aware. There is also always the possibility that come 10 years from now, we will be just a brick in the bucket purveyor of Lego and others. So, who knows? That's not our plan right now because authenticity is important to our brand. But who knows how things might evolve in the future. Is this... Alrighty, there we go. We've got our required moving part here. I am building a hamburger now. Alrighty. And we are almost done with this set, and also almost done with the stream. So, anyone have any final closing questions that they desperately need answered? Because my lack of wisdom is freely available. I would say, though, on the topic of the fake Lego, the largest one that we see is Go Bricks, which are the ones without any logo on top. And their colors are almost spot on, which does definitely suck. But that I would say is the brand that's actually potentially a threat, because they're so hard to tell apart. Kobe and stuff, obviously it makes it more expensive by weight, because more percent of what you buy is going to be non-Lego, but it's very easy to pull out, like Mega Blocks and stuff. However, the issue with the Go Bricks is you actually have to pick it up and check the stud, which sucks. Something I've thought about, and maybe someone else can test it, is testing the buoyancy and then soaking everything and seeing if Go Bricks float differently than Lego does, and therefore you could do a density filter. But I have not tested that theory. But that's kind of the only thing I've thought of in terms of how to prevent the Lego, in terms of how to separate it out. Alright guys, we've got our mummy here, spooky, and we've got a sandwich on the back, not a Scooby snack though, and we've got Scooby, and we've got Shaggy. The cheese slopes are hard to tell apart. Yes, the cheese slopes are hard to tell apart. Alright, how many more Scooby sets do I need to buy? Because I think I almost have them all. I have the lighthouse. I need to buy the manor, the mystery manor. That's, I think, my last one. That one and... No, that's the last one I need to buy, is the house. The Mystery Mansion. And then I will have completed my Scooby Doo collection. Alright, guys. Carol says, so I have to show my ID if I want to start a BrickLink store. That is correct. At least that's what people tell us now. When we first started, that was not a rule. But my understanding is that now, in order to prevent scammers, they require you to show ID. At least within the US. I don't know if that's true in other countries, but here in the US, I believe you have to show ID. You also have to show proof of your inventory with photos and stuff. You also have to be over 18. As far as I know, that's the only requirements. You can also only have one BrickLink account. Alright, guys. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you for your wonderful questions. It's been great having you all here. And we have built almost the last Scooby Doo thing. I have to build the lighthouse, and then I have to hunt down and purchase the mansion. And then I will own all the Scooby Doo sets. So, goodbye, everyone, and have a wonderful rest of your weekend.